wedding day risk and liabilities. I have never spoken about this topic on any of my platforms before, but I would love to speak about it because considering the rate at which these things are happening at weddings, someone definitely needs to talk about this. And you know me, as always, I'll bring you some of these topics. So if you've not subscribed to this channel, do so by clicking on the subscribe button and also hit on the notification bell so you get notified whenever I post new videos. So let's get right into these topics. I'll be giving you just 5 issues that may arise during wedding planning process. So these are risk and liabilities. It does not often happen, but it might pop up. So just so you know, then you might have a way or two to curb this when it happens at your wedding. Issues with wedding vendors. Most times it does happen, especially if you don't have a planner. When you have a planner, you might not even be able to notice these things or get to hear of it, probably maybe after the wedding. But if you don't have a wedding planner, if you don't have a coordinator, issues with wedding vendors might pop up sometime during the process or during the wedding day. Some of these issues are financial insolvency. This happens when probably the contract was not well adhered to. The vendor had a contract that's 80% before work and a month or 2 weeks to the event, 20%. Then you as the bride, you were able to convince the vendor to come and you will pay the vendor on the day of the event. And when the day comes or when the day pops up, you are refusing to pay. So these are some of the issues that would pop up. Take note of this. And also injury or illness before the event. These are risks. You might fall sick, a vendor might fall sick. So what plans have you put in place, especially that of the vendor? When she falls sick and she's not able to come, can she bring someone else to perform the same duties? Or if it is not her or if it is not him, you will take your money back. Make sure you jot out all these things and you put it in writing before the day pops up. The other thing I would say is extreme weather conditions. So you know the weather, you might be able to monitor the weather very, very well, but on that day it might disappoint you. You can't do anything about it. But what is your contingency plan when the weather tries to change on your wedding day? The thing I will tell you is property damage during the event. So most of the event centers that you go for, they will tell you that you would have to put 2,000 cedis or an amount of money or a percentage of your budget of the event center there as security deposit. If nothing goes amiss on that day, you would have it back. If something gets spoiled, maybe you perforate a hole, maybe the draping causes issues with the ceiling and all that, that money will be used for that. Make sure it is in any contracts that you sign, especially with the event center. Last it is very say is a risk or it might be a liability is when your wedding falls on a public holiday. So let's say a Seth March in Ghana, it's a public holiday. So when your wedding falls on that day, the traffic in town will be very massive and it might cause either a delay or a cancellation of your wedding, especially if the venue you'll be using for your wedding would also be used for such events. So make sure your date doesn't coincide with any of the public holidays in the country where you reside. Hope you also learned a thing or two from these things. So kindly hit on the subscribe button. Do not forget to follow me on all social media platforms. The handles will be at the very end of this video. I'll see you again in another video.